morning, Jules here. Welcome to my channel. So what we're on our second altered book. So we're decorating the pages. Now what I've done here is I have this magazine. I don't know whether I should be showing it on YouTube. It's one I picked up at the airport, and one of the pages I quite like the colours, and it's all kind of, it was adverts. And what I did was I just cut out little pieces, so there's kind of browns, reds and turquoises, and this is how I do my little bits of art. So we'll have that one there, we'll have that one there because we've got one there, we've got that there, we'll put that one in the middle, we've got one of them there, one of them, we'll have some yellow, a bit green, and this is it. And this is what I do. I've seen it done loads of times. There's loads of mixed media artists do this. It's simple, you don't need a lot of equipment or anything for it. All you do need is some glue. You can use Mod Podge, watered down Mod Podge, and then what you do is you kind of arrange, you know, where you want your bits and pieces to go. So I think we'll have that one join in there. I'm going to put that one upside down, and then that one, and you can see because it was an advert, there is some writing on it, but that does not bother me at all. And then this one is our bricky work one, so I'm going to put this one here like that. That one there, that one there. We'll have our green one. I have got a green one here. I knew I had a green one somewhere, so I'm going to put that one up. I'm going to turn that one round, because what I do is I kind of match them up a little bit. And we'll put that one down there, and we'll put that one across there, and that's how I'm going to stick them down, these ones. And what we've got is we've got shapes coming over and shapes coming over, so that way, so it kind of joins the two pages up. So we'll put this down, and what I'm using is I'm using this matte medium acrylic. It's starting to go hard, so it needs using, desperately needs using, and I kind of forgot about it for a while, so I'm just gonna put a lot. And all I'm doing is I'm going to use one of these spatulas. You can use anything. You can use this is a hairdresser's tinting spatula, and I'm just rubbing it on like that. Now you have to remember we've got gesso on this page, so we're adding another layer really to the gesso. And again, and the matte medium, it is a good glue. I wouldn't use it in sort of like normal arts and crafts, but and then we're just going to put that down, and that one like that. I might need to re-stick some bits over that. I was going to put that the other way, and we'll put that like that. We'll have a little, and we'll have a little bit. No, I won't. I'll put that one like that. And what I'm doing is I've just had that dipped in the water, and I shouldn't have done, but never mind. So my magazine pages will go a bit crinkly because I've had I dipped it in the water. I forgot I was going to go over the top of it. So I always go over the top of it with a bit of the matte medium, and it just kind of sets it in. So then we've got another layer. And mixed media is all about putting layers down, regardless of what the layers are. There can be anything. There can be lace, there can be paint, there can be ink, paper, magazine scraps, newspapers, anything you want. There's no rules really. When you're playing, and it's your project, and so it's your rules. It's just that I like, and I'm quite symmetrical, even in the house, you know, with the ornaments and things like that. Quite symmetrical. Some people aren't. Some people just like everything just as they want it. But unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. So I am me. There, and we had this one here, and I'm laying them over a bit. I'm going to have that one. No, I'm not. I'm going to have it up there. The writing's upside down, but that's fine. And so that's very symmetrical, isn't it? It's a little bit different to how I had it planned out. And I've not dipped the spatula in the water this time. So I'm just going over it with what I've got. Now what I do want to do is I want to add some of these, and it's just to add them in a bit, just touch gently. I might not put all of them on. Another thing you can get out of magazines is words, you know, sort of like in the sentences and things like that. That's sometimes what I do. But I've not had a full look at that magazine to see what words they've got. So what I might do is I might stamp some words. I might even stamp some words on here. So what we need now is we need for this to dry. And once it's dried, I'll come back to you. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so that's me back. So it's dried. Probably you should leave it a little bit longer than I have, but for video purposes, so it's a little bit dull, but that's the matte medium on it. So you can see as the kind of the composition goes along, and I've kind of used adverts, an advert page that's got, you know, it's got items on it, and it just says how much they are and whatever. You see lots of them in all magazines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over with the gesso, and I'm going to put some gesso on it. So they will be faded into the background a little bit. And again, my gesso is just a cheapy gesso, and I'm using a cheapy brush from IKEA in the kids section. And I'm just deciding I might not cover it all with gesso, but I'm just bringing it into the background a bit, and it's kind of brushing it on. Again, it's another layer. And again, just give me 2 seconds. Otherwise I'm going to get a visit from my little dog. And then she'll go to the top of the stairs and bark at my husband to tell him I'm here. Now some of the other mediums I've got is I've got some paints and pencils and things. And I've got expensive paints that I've paid a lot of money for, but what I'm using is the cheapo kids paints. Now that's lifted up a bit, so I'm putting a bit of gesso in and sticking it down. And I'm just going to go over some of these bits that kind of stuck when I was doing all the pages. So I will be using a bit of paint. And now my colours are kind of rusts, greens and yellows, so hopefully I'll remember and keep those because I'm awfully distracted. And again, what we need to do is dry that page. And again, I'll be with you in a second. Okay, so that's me back. So that's it dried. Just pull them forward. I've got some bits of doilies and stuff like that on my desk that I should have cleared away first. However, I didn't. So what we've got now, because my colours are rust green and yellow, I've got these paints. Now these were just, they're pearlized paints, so I've got like a rusty, like an orangey brown there. I've got yellow, I've got green. I've got these that I picked up at the local hobby craft shop, and again these are pearlized, but it's probably these colours. That one definitely, maybe it's that one, I'm not sure. And I've got some cheap stationery water pencils, and I use these all the time. The reason I take these out to Cyprus with me, because I don't mind if they get bust. I wouldn't take my good ones out because of the travelling and everything. But the one that I probably use more than anything is the black one for going round. And what I want to do is, I've also got some of this, and it's Cadence Creatix, and it's Natural Rust Effect paint. Now you don't have to use this. I got it when I was in North Cyprus. I got it from a shop called, is it Dennis Plaza? And it's an art shop, an art stationery shop, and it's brilliant. It's drying up because I've had it now for 3 years and I've hardly used it. And I'm going to see if I can take the lid off, because you can see the dry bits. And 2 seconds, my husband's shouting me. Alright, that's me back. So, as I was saying with this, I'm going to use, when you buy these children's brushes at IKEA, you get I think a pack of 4 or 5. That's the widest one, when you get them right down to that size. So, sorry, I've had a biscuit. My husband made me a cup of coffee. So these colours on these squares are to guide me of the colours that I want to use. The way I've set them is to guide me again of the way I want my double page spread to go. Some of these, probably most of them, will be hidden. However, you know, I might draw around the shapes and things like that. But my main, what I'm trying to create is just a flow across the page, and I want it rusty, like golds and greens, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use this. Oops. And I really should have my messy mat on. So I'm going to put this down here. This is a silicone mat that I use when I used to use it all the time, but I've taken it off. I use other things when I'm inking, but this is kind of my messy mat. I've also found these stamps. Now, I got them a long time ago on Temu. They're word stamps, and it's Inspire, Create, Believe, Art, Love. There's some script, always try to, so you can inspire, create, make time to inspire, create, and there's numbers. So I intend using these, but I just got them out, so I'm putting them there out the way. This I want to just, I can always put more down if I need it. And I'm dropping bits because this, when I bought that, I also bought the rust activator. Now in this natural rust effect paint, there is little bits of iron filings, I think, which act with this. This is like an acid, and it reacts with the iron filings. I also bought the rust powder, which is basically bits of iron powder. You don't have to have that, but I just wanted to use it. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting this on. And what I might need to do is put something behind there so it doesn't, because I like it to fall over the page. And you can use, you know, you can use your paints. I think sienna, is it burnt sienna is round about this colour. Burnt umber's more of a, or I might be getting it mixed up. But I think the sienna is round about this. Shove that in there. Now what I am going to do is I am going to put a bit of this activate just to see what it does. It's a long time since I've used it. And you can see it's a bit blue. It is an acid. So just gonna wash this down a bit. And then I'm gonna go and dry it, and we'll see what we get. What I might do is I might put a bit of this powder just around the edges. I'm just mixing it in. You can see that's going dark, the powders. And yeah, you're probably going, oh my God, crikey, what's she doing? So I'm going to dry that off and we'll come back to you when it's done. Okay, so I've done that and it's coming out a little bit rusty. It's feeling a little bit rough, and all about mixed media is the texture. So yeah, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of this around the edges, just mix it in, and some there. And I'm just mixing that in. I don't want as much as what's at the top there, but I'm using it up while I've got it. Shove it in there. Just water it down. I'll water it down a little bit again. Put a little bit of this on while it's wet, and then we'll dry it off. See you in a bit. Okay, so that's me done that. So it feels like, yeah, it doesn't feel as smooth as that's the same texture, but it's definitely, and I quite like that. So we might be able to leave this off, but I'll put it down just in case. And it is starting to give a rusty metal kind of look. Now what I want to do is I want to put like a gold, and what I've done is I've got my paints, I've put water on them. I might need to change my no, it's the gold I'm using, and we'll see what this. Now all I want to do is I just want to give a kind of a thin line, you know, like the geode type formation where it's got all the glitzy bits, and some of it's going over there. And just putting that on a little bit thicker in places, because this is pearlized, so it is glitzy. And I think we might have little bits around the edges just to wash it up a bit. And then what I'm doing is I'm going for the dark. I'm just mixing it in until it's like, because what happens when you put water on your watercolor paints, you need to mix them in so that you get like a creamy consistency. And even with the cheap ones you get that. If you're a watercolor expert you'll know, but if you're not, like me, and we'll put some up here, I think, little bits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry that off. That's done. Then what I'm doing is I'm going to go for the lightest, I think, and this is kind of just a pearl, a white pearl. And I'm just filling it in. I'm using a bit of water just to make it go that little bit further. And if it mixes with the gold or the bronze, that's fine. Okay, and while it's still wet, I'm going to go a little bit darker and just not right to the edge, but just in. So this is kind of a mixture of the gold and the pearl, but it is its own colour in the block. And then we'll just go to I think it's the bronze, right in the middle. Go back to the goldy pearl. I think it's light gold, dark gold, silver, bronze, copper and pearl. I never really looked at the colours, I just like the colours that they were in the palette. And I'm just kind of following the shape that I've created. I am going to get my mini mister, and I am going to, just so it mixes a bit, and I'm just going around the edge and just let that settle a bit. Okay, so that's that. So we're getting that kind of geode look, and you can still see the pages, the little shapes in the background, which is fine. Now what I want to do is I want to thin this this rusty bit, the outer layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry my brush off and go in with some gesso. And I'm starting on the page first, just to get my brush dry, and then I'm just flicking it in. I could use a brayer and brayer it on, but I'm not going to. And we'll just go around the edge. And again, if it goes over the coppery colour, it's fine. You'll still see a bit of it. And you'll find that the gesso will sink into that, so it won't be pure white, it will be kind of a brownie colour, which is fine. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a total cover up. To get a total cover up, you'd need to do it a few times. And I'm just going to go in and around the edge. Not putting a lot down, just a bit. Just picking up tiny little bits of gesso. And that'll be enough of that. Now what I do want to do is I want to get a precision brush, and I want to go in to this one. I just want a thin streak, just not doing it all the way around, just and it's not this colour, it's the one in between. And we'll just do a little bit around here. It's a little bit too thick, but never mind. And it's the colour that I've used in the middle. Again, I'm just not really touching it, just and then I'll go in for the gold again, and we'll just put a couple of streaks of gold, and then I'm going to go in with the, hopefully my pearlescent green will show. I need to wet that. And let's see if we can get this. So this is kind of like a, it's not a bright green. I'm not sure if it is the right green, but we'll try it. So I'm just I might need to look at my twinkling H2Os. They're a bit stronger. I think that's what I need to look since late 90s, I think. Probably early 2000s. I bought them off the shopping channel. I think you can still get them, but the old art shops will still have them, so I'm just waiting on that. Yeah. Maybe it's a bit too bright. Maybe it's this one we want. And I can't tell you what it is because I can't tip it upside down. Have a look. No, maybe it is there. so it's fresh oregano, or oregano as we call it here in the UK. But they're very, very pigmented paints. And I'm just, whoops, that was a little bit too big, but it doesn't matter. I'm actually mixing the two. So where one ends, the other one starts. Just put it into the gold a bit. We'll mix. And it's all about playing doing these. I mean, it's and this is definitely mixing into the colours on the background, which is fine. And where the green and the orange, kind of the bronzes mix, you will get like a rusty brown mixture. Mix it into the gesso there. And I'm kind of just going with the flow, but to me what looks right. Use a bit of the dark. A bit of the light. And spray it. Let mix, because it settles when it mixes. Yeah, you might get a muddy bit, but you just mop that up. And then we'll dry it off. So. Okay, so that's his back. So I've got a gold pencil here now. I'm just going to see how it works. The paper's a bit hot, and I'm just going around the papers that we put in. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. So you can see the blocks that we did. Now what I want to do is I want to put some of my stamps on, so I'm just going to clear up. If you give me 2 seconds and I'll be back with a clear desk. Okay, that's me back. So what I've decided to do is always try to create up here. Got a little bit of, that doesn't matter. And I'm going to put make time to inspire down here. Now I'm using black tuxedo black. In fact, I'm going to change that. I'm going to use VersaFine Clays because it's a juicier black and it will probably dry quicker on the gesso and the paint. It just seemed as if it didn't have enough, so I'm going to put this here, and maybe I should have had a wee flat surface underneath the page, but we'll see. There we are. It's worked, although it has blurred a bit, but it's fine. I quite like it. You can see the create. You can make out also, always try to word. I'm just going to wipe this off. One of the reasons I like the Clays VersaFine is because it doesn't leave any ink on your stamps. See, when it leaves ink on your stamps, I don't like it at all. So I'm going to do this one separate. I'm not going to do it on one block. And this is make time to inspire. And there we are. And do I want... No, I'm going to leave that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to ink round the page on my ink blender. I always like to frame the page. And sometimes you can put anything round, whatever. But I mean, when I first started doing it, I was going to keep the shapes quite prominent. But as I went, and I wanted sort of like the rusty bits and everything, it changed my mind. And that's all about art. When you're messing about, playing with art, just go with the flow. At the end of the day, it's only a bit of paper, and these were the only deer inks I used was the Twinkling H2Os. Everything else in the stamps. So we've got our first one that we did, and that some of the rusty paint went over, but it's fine. And then we've got that. So I think I'll only do another 1 or 2 pages on camera, and the rest I'll do when I'm playing, when it's just me time, because it's nice to have just me time. But I think what we might do on this one is we might do some sketches, some faces or birds or mushrooms. My favourite thing to draw is eyes. Anybody that saw my dragon's eye, I love drawing eyes, and I think it comes from my hairdressing days and my art days when we used to have to draw body parts. So I think what I'll do is, I think this page will be full of eyes, all watching. Anyway, I hope you get something out of that. I hope you will have a go. It's at the end of the day, if you get a couple of hardback books from the thrift shop, the charity shop, or whatever you call them, and just do that, and it's just practice. Don't ever say that you can't draw. I can't you know, I'm not as good as some of the big artists, but I enjoy sketching, and that's the main thing. It's what you enjoy. And what I might end up doing is putting a little bit of washi tape down there, but I'll need to mix it in because I don't want to spoil my artwork. But then I might do some sellotape on this series for beginner friendly. It's sort of like making the old vintage stuff and, you know, just experimenting and learning. So I might do one where we make some of the old vintage sellotape, and then what I'll do is I'll put a bit of that down there, and that'll look quite nice. Anyway, enough waffle. I will see you in the next video. Bye.